All right, love you too. Okay, love you too. Okay, happy Thursday, everyone. This is Clean Talk Thursday. If you are a patron, I pray you got the notification that I sent maybe about an hour or so ago. I'm gonna wait for a few people to come in. Okay, I'm doing laundry today. During today's Clean Talk. So as you're coming in, if you're doing chores, let me know what you're doing. I wasn't actually going to say too much on this particular topic. I felt like it was over, but people stay mad longer these days about things, and it's understandable in some areas. So, hello, thank you so very much. Hello. Diana, are you in the Patreon group? I need to make sure that you're in the Patreon group. If you are a patron and you have not joined the exclusive Patreon private group on Facebook, please be sure to do that. If your Facebook name is different from your Patreon name, please let me know, because some of you all sign up with your government names with Patreon, but you use your pseudonames on Facebook, so please let me know about that. All right. Like I said, I'm doing laundry today during Clean Talk chat. There's two issues we're gonna be talking about today. Folks mad at Kim Burrell, and now people trying to get mad at Bishop T.D. Jakes, and so we're gonna be going over that. All right. Help me because I'm lost. Okay, where? In which area? In which area? Where are you lost? Hello. Y'all calling me y'all beautiful. I'm sitting up here looking all regular. Thank y'all. I appreciate it so much. Y'all sure know how to make somebody feel good about themselves. Thank you, Jacqueline. I didn't think he did anything, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Matter of fact, and thank you for the stars. Whoever just sent the stars, I looked down and looked up. Thank y'all so much. Every time y'all support this platform, y'all empower me to be able to empower more people. So thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and get started on Kim Burrell. All right. First of all, she has issued not one, but dose apologies, okay? She's issued dose, all right? The first one was a written apology. The second one was a video apology that she posted, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Someone's asking, what's the Patreon group? It's an exclusive group while everybody's coming in. That is set aside for those who support my platform on a monthly basis. And those who are opals and up, they get text message notifications anytime I go live, and then they are able to get coaching on the side X amount of times a month for free, and they're able to join the classes and so forth for free. All right, thank you for those of you who are first time here. All right, I'm not going to read the comments anymore. Y'all go. Let me stay on the topic. All right, so Kim Burrell, everyone is mad at her because, not everyone, some people are, let me change that, are upset with her because once again she went viral for a video that was posted of her at a church, and she was in jest, but she was joking and making comments about, doing a friend check. You have to be able to interview your friends, so to speak. You need to know how many times names they put their light bill under. Do they have their bills under their relative's name? Do you live in a home or do you live in a trailer? She made reference to the other pastors, saying that she respects them. She's not as expensive as, it seems, and that she's looking forward to them booking her to come in if they have money left over from their PP loan. Let me tell y'all why people are we're going to get on TD Jakes, y'all. Wait. We're going to get on TD Jakes, okay? The reason why people are having a hard time accepting her apology is because this is not the first, this is not the second, this is not even the third time that she has had to come back and explain or apologize or put out a statement about a statement that she has made. I'm going to be very careful with my words because I don't want to come off as disrespectful, but I got to be truthful. And her words come off as arrogant and cocky, because typically when she is in jest and making comments, it's basically sizing up where she is economically to other people. I knew she was cold-blooded when I heard maybe about a year, so I'm not even for sure, when she said Jesus wrapped in swaddling clothing and I'm wearing minks. And I was like, oh man, she said, okay, all right, Jesus wrapped in swaddling clothing and I'm wearing minks, you know. And so it's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And an apology means nothing if a changed behavior does not follow suit. Okay? If you keep apologizing for something, but then continue with that same behavior, you're just talking out of the side of your mouth. Now, I'm not going to say that this apology this time was not authentic. I will say this. When you apologize for something that you have been a repeat offender of, and let me say this before anybody want to knock her down, I think we've all been guilty of being repeat offenders in some aspect or another. We've had to apologize to people for doing the same thing over and over. It took us a minute to get it right. So I need for you all to remember that. But when you issue an apology, there are things that people need to remember when apologizing. The first thing is first, and this is what I saw that was wrong with the first apology was a handwritten one. When you apologize with no excuses. When you've done wrong, apologize with absolutely no excuses, and don't try to bring anybody in with you. Don't try to say anything about, don't say anything about, but the lawyer said or anything. Apologize for your actions and just let it all be about you, all about you. Because when you say, I'm sorry, or if I offended you, when it's clear that people are upset, then it's really downplaying the offense on the other person's end. If you don't feel like they should be offended, then just stick to your guns, because when you give a half-hearted apology, it makes the apology even worse. So these are some etiquette rules for those who don't even know. When you apologize, worry about yourself. Focus on what it is that you did, and that was one of the mistakes she made. The second mistake that she made, and this was a aesthetic error. She made the mistake in the video of wearing the exact same glasses that she wore when she was at that church. And that's a trigger. For one thing, you want to not wear any dark shades, anything that's going to hide your eyes. When you are apologizing, when you want people to see your heart, they're going to see it through the look in your face. And if you're hiding your eyes, I really am not a fan of people, especially people of the cloth, that are constantly wearing glasses where you can't see their eyes, because your eyes tell a lot of things. It really do. People can understand and see things and basically see your heart basically based on how your eyes are. People ask me all the time why I wear the pink glasses with no lenses. I tell them, at first I didn't say anything, but I tell them, you can see my eyes. When people started being attracted to the bmack rights platform, they were trying their best to figure out why I was not wearing glasses with no lenses in them. But that was, what God gave me, because the whole time they were trying to look to see if I had lenses, they also saw my eyes. And as they were looking, they were hearing, and they saw that, somebody brought this sweatshirt. You get, and the sweatshirt, that was just a big faux pas. When you have made jokes about others' expenses and, so forth, and you want to apologize for being inconsiderate about their financial status, you don't wear a t-shirt that says million, trillions, and billions. You just don't do that. That's a subliminal message right there. And y'all, some people don't mean it, but they don't get it. I don't know her like that to say which one it is, but if I called you all broke, busted, and disgusted, and I'm talking about everything I got, and then I want to, last thing that I'm gonna do, all right, the last thing I'm going to do is wear a millions, billions, and trillions t-shirt. All right. And if I could have a moment of vanity, though, I really liked her hair. I liked the curl pattern and the hair that she was wearing. I was sitting there like, oh, I wonder what curl pattern that was. If anybody know what that curl pattern that was in that video, please let me know, because I really like that. I did. I really like that. That's a moment of vanity there. So that is where she's messed up. And right now, all we can do is sit back, run on, and see what the end is gonna be. All right. She's apologized 70 times 7. We have to forgive them. So the only thing that we can do is see if there is going to be a changed behavior, because like I said earlier, we have to remember in some areas it took us a minute to get it together. So we're going to be optimistic that this is going to encourage a changed behavior. If it doesn't, then it just makes it even worse. What she has to do and what her supporters have to do and what her camp has to do now is now be patient, because you violated the people's trust over and over and over again. Y'all, this is probably my mama. Hold on for a minute. Snickerdoodle, I am on live and I'm gonna have to call you right back. Live. They hear me talking to you, but they don't hear you, but I'll call you right back because I'm being rude. Bye, boy. That was my brother. He said, hey. He said, okay. So they've got to be patient because trust was violated. And can I please put this in here? As a pastor's wife, leaders, and I got to be careful because I ain't trying to, block nobody's going like y'all young folks like to see it. Thank you so much for the stars. Be careful who you allow in your pulpits. Some leaders, and I'm not saying this is the case for that church, all right? But some leaders are so caught up with trying to get to the point where they can say that they had a notable in their pulpit that they don't take the time to really pay attention to what they're putting in their pulpit. And when you have somebody that's standing up there, even in jest, that is spewing out insults, at some point you have to say, turn down mic. Because see, if it was me, I would have been like, turn the mic down, turn it off, somebody go get her, baby, go turn it off, because Sister Fifth and Heaven just had her housewarming party, and that was a double wide, and she talking about trailers, and that's all she can afford right now, Leaders, you are held accountable for your flock. And sometimes, you've got a whole flock that's been offended, and potential flock, because of one person that you put in the pulpit because of their status. And I know, unfortunately, people who only want to put not necessarily people that are filled with the Holy Ghost, they only want to put status people in their pulpit so that they can put it on the flyer and say that they know this person, so that they can make it seem like the ministry is mega, the ministry is bigger than, whatever it is. And y'all, we have to be mindful of that, because see, now, not only is that a reflection of her, but it's a reflection of the person who put her up there. And a statement needs to be made on that end, because people are in different spaces in life and they're just all trying to grow, and when God blesses you, it's important to keep that humble spirit and that humble mindset about, where he's brought you from. But when you get to the point where you're always talking about how much clothes are that you're wearing, and your contracts, and where you come from, and the number of followers, and so that right there, it's a red flag that most leaders should catch way before. Thank you for the stars. Most leaders should catch beforehand. But everything is being allowed up there now, because unfortunately a lot of today's leaders just want to be placed in a certain level of status. All right. I'm not saying that she's not sincere. All right. I'm not saying that I buy it, but I'm not saying that she's not sincere. And when we put those type of people in our pulpits, we are telling people who may or may not be struggling with that same thing that it's really not that bad. And we're also telling people who have been made to feel bad about whatever it is they're struggling with that your feelings don't count. Last night, my husband talked about this at Bible study about love last night. Unfortunately, people really do not know what love is anymore. They equate love with stuff and status and what you can do for me. And so, what I can get for myself. And frankly, everybody is tired of her faux pas. This is a leader in the music industry over a flock. And because life and death is in the power of the tongue, there needs to be some more control and temperance when it comes to the tongue. Because let's just be real. All right, let me go ahead and tell you all an age-old secret, because I do know people with money that don't look like they have money. You want to know why? Because you don't have to go around fronting what you have. You don't have to go around telling everybody how much your stuff is, how much your shoes are, how much your wigs are, how much your purses are. And, if you stayed in a 5-star hotel, you ain't got to take pictures with money. Rich people with etiquette half the time wear sneakers and jeans. Let me tell you something. When I get my first meal in the bank, and I said when, ain't nobody gonna know. Y'all gonna see me up in the Dollar General just like everybody else. I'm still gonna be regular Bridget. This I say on a public forum. That way y'all can hold me accountable if I decide to butt my head and be stupid. But I am not gonna butt my head and be stupid, because there's a hell down there and I ain't trying to go. I fear God. All right. The moment that right there is just something that needs to be delivered from. And y'all ain't trying to be funny. I ain't got a lot of friends because I will tell you the truth even if it hurts your feelings, because that's how I grew up. But you got to be delivered from it. Because that's unkind and it's mean. It is. It is unkind and it's mean. And if you are a person who lives in a trailer, if you are a person who made the mistake of putting your bills in the past in everybody else's name, and you see it, don't be ashamed of it. Just learn from it and say, I'm not going to do that again. And let me go ahead and say this too. When you are interviewing people for friendship, and I know she said this in jest, but some people would take this literally, and some people literally do that. All right. How much money they have in the bank should not be the very first thing that you look at. You need to be looking at, are they saved? Can two walk together except they be agreed? Because you can have a nickel to your name and be saved and filled with the Holy Ghost and not know God and have billions in the bank. And I'm going to go for the Holy Ghost person, because I'm going to need somebody who knows how to operate under God's agape love, who's going to love me unconditionally, who's going to have my back. Because I look at it like this, then we can grow together. We can grow together. And I know that as God blesses you and as he blesses me, I ain't got to worry about jealousy. I ain't got to worry about no betrayal. I ain't got to worry about no backstabbing. I ain't got to worry about this, because God is always going to be the forefront of every decision that you make, just like he'll be at every decision. So that was a very vain way of being comical, because how many times I don't care about how many times your light bill has been in other people's name. I don't care if you live in a double wide. I don't care if you got a PPP loan. I don't care about that. I'm looking at the condition of the heart. I'm looking at the condition of the heart. That's what y'all need to do. Y'all need to look at the condition of the heart, because some of the richest people that are walking around here, some of the Fortune 500 people that are walking around here, are some of the people that are walking to work and that are putting a box fan in their windows because they can't afford air conditioning right now. They are some of the richest people because they're happy, their families are healthy, they know the Lord, they're truthful, they walk in integrity. Those are some of the richest people right there. We got it all twisted. The Bible talks in Revelations about the people who are think that because they have riches, that they have it all, and in God's eyes they are miserable and wretched. He calls them wretched. He don't even, miserable. That's what he calls them. So I'm not worried about that. I mean, I listen, y'all look at me. I've got people that don't want to fool me because I'm not the typical pastor's wife that walk around in two-piece suits and the hats and stockings. Stockings make me itch. You will never see me in stockings. And if you do, I'm going to have to put some anti-itch cream on. They literally make me itch. And I'm not going to walk around, you know, all up it. I know how to handle business and conduct business, but for the most part, I'm Bridget. I'm a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody. That's what I am. And I ain't got to walk around with my lips poked out and acting like I'm better than other people. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. And I refuse to do that. And if I have to do that in order to maintain my status as the first lady, then I don't want to be a first lady. You know, I got all these folks that follow me on all these platforms. Yeah, I'm almost at 1 million followers. No, I'm not. About 600,000. And I'm still regular Bridget. I ain't nobody special. Having a lot of followers don't make you no better than nobody. It just makes you more responsible. All right? So y'all just remember that with friendship. We just gonna pray and see. She said in the video, she said, you'll see. So we just gonna pray and we gonna see. We're not gonna put her down. We ain't gonna call out her name. We're not gonna, you know, make unseen jokes. And some of you all were talking about her and making all these jokes and stuff like that. And y'all were doing to her, which I was mad at her for doing to other people. Two wrongs don't make a right. It does not. So remember that. On to TD Jakes. I listened to that clip, and frankly, I'm still trying to figure out why people are mad. Because he's telling the truth. All right? If it does not apply to you, then don't get offended. If you're not one of those women, and people kept saying black women, I didn't hear him acknowledge specifically black women at all. He just said y'all. All right? But what he said is true. Let me go ahead and say this because y'all know I like to go and read the comments, right? And, oh my gosh. I did not realize how many men literally worship Kevin Samuels, but they literally got Kevin Samuels up on the throne. They don't flick God out the way, put him on the throne, and got Jesus mopping the floor. They have put Kevin Samuels as God because they were like, yes, the spirit of Kevin Samuels live on, or now that Kevin Samuels is dead, you know, everybody trying to take on to the platform. No, listen. TD Jakes did not say what a lot of people have not already been saying. It's just right now he's in the spotlight on it. Kevin Samuels was telling people to die alone. All right. So no, I didn't hear at one point in that message where TD Jakes told the women that they were going to die alone. All right. But basically somebody said, no, let me see. No such thing as a first lady. You're the only lady. Why did I read that comment? Okay, I'm going to let you have that one, babe. Okay, I'm going to let you have that one. But anyway, all right. I don't want to get into that because TD Jakes did not tell anybody they were going to die alone. He was addressing the women. He said that our women are being raised to be masculine. All right? It's true. They are not all of them. But there are a lot of women, we're going to dig deeper into this. There are a lot of women who have the attitude where they're constantly telling their men, I don't need you. This is my house. This is my car. I don't need you. And he was saying that you all do that and then you wonder why a man shies away from you in the relationship. And for those of you who have not figured it out, okay, God has already created what his divine order is as it relates to the family and marriage. The man is supposed to be the head of the household, but he's supposed to love his wife like Christ loved the church. He's not supposed to browbeat her. Now, I can understand why some women were triggered by what he said, because based on the women that I've worked with throughout the years, a lot of women have developed that mindset because they were once in a relationship with a man where he was the sole provider and he was forever reminding her that he was the one who made the money. He was forever telling her, it's my money, this is my house, I pay the bills, I'm the head, I'm in charge, blah, blah, this and everything. And so when that relationship soured, or maybe wife, and she made up in her mind that she was not going to be made to feel that that way, like she's a child, like she can't do anything, like she's insignificant. So she developed that mindset over the years. So I can understand why there are a lot of women, all right? All right, so let me tell y'all, this literally happens every time. All right, this happens every time. When I have about 1,000 people on, all of a sudden it starts buffering. Can y'all hear me okay? Can you all hear me okay? I heard somebody say I'm losing connection. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for everyone to get back on. All right, let's see. Y'all let me know if you can hear me okay. Do you think as mothers we water down our boy child and spoil them? All right, I'm waiting for everybody to come back in. And y'all, it's a delay on my end, so it might take a minute before I see where you all can hear me okay. I'm looking at the keep freezing ones. Okay, I got my first I can hear you. Thank you, Brittany. Mary, thank you so much. So back to, I can now, but it goes in and out. It should be clear now. Okay, y'all can hear me. All right, so this is the problem that we're having, but we do have women that are cocky and that are arrogant and that feel like they can talk to their men folk. They grew up in households where mama ran everything. And mama was just, you know, disrespectful to any man, daddy, the sons, her daddy, or what have you. And so there's a balance there. And so now men are triggered anytime they come across a woman who is independent or self-sufficient, because there are some men that might have grew up in households where mama was disrespectful, or, you know, they came out of a relationship where the woman that they were with before didn't know how to love and didn't know how to respect. And so somebody put in the comments, we got to get to the base root of the root of the problem. There you go. But ladies, we got to be truthful in this. All right. If you want to be in a forever relationship with a man, you've got to allow him to take his place in the relationship. And constantly telling him that you don't need him is not going to make him feel like he's needed. I don't even understand why that is so hard to believe. If you're not the type of woman that, I mean, you can be self-sufficient, you can be independent, you can make your own money, but be humble. You can't get mad at Kim Burrell for being cocky and arrogant and telling everybody what she got and how much she spent for it. And I spent $1,800 on boots, and you're doing the same thing to your man. You can't do that, because you're exemplifying that same exact spirit. And so this is the problem that we're having now, because now people are waiting. You know, most people today are getting into relationships where they're established in a lot of areas. You know, a lot of people, the woman and the man is already making their own money. They already have their own cars. They got their own bank account. They have their own ideals and so forth. And so when they get into the relationship, it's a tug of war, because they've been single for so long and they've been used to doing things on their own for so long. And so now her thing is, and heaven forbid, if you get in a relationship, he owns a house or you have a house, or maybe he just stayed in a really nice bachelor pad, but you went ahead and bought a house. Y'all get married and he moves in your house. Every time you get mad at him, you're going to tell him to get out, because that's your house. Just like the men do to the women. So it's hypocrisy on both sides. And I think women are triggered because they heard it from a man, and women are still trying to deal with the trauma of what everybody had to endure when Kevin Samuels was living. Because, you know, I know the man is deceased. I'm not trying to disrespect his family. I know that they lost a loved one, but he did a lot of damage to the mindsets before he left. Now, even if you're telling the truth, if you lace it with offense, if you lace it with insults, then your truth is no longer valid. Kim Burrell was right when she was talking about people who put their bills in their children's name or have so many different, you know, because those type of people, if you've done that, even if it's in the past and if you're doing it now, It's a question of your character right now, because you're not even considering the damage that it could possibly do to the next person's name. But because her comment was laced with jest and offense, nobody took it to heart. Some of the stuff that Kevin Samuels was saying was true, but because his platform was built on offending and calling people fat and body shaming and telling them that they're going to die alone and everything, it was not received. It was not received at all. And so a lot of women are struggling now when they hear another man say that, from the ones that I've dealt with, all right? They're struggling with that, to hear another man say something even remotely similar. But, I can't go against what God told him to say. But typically when I've gotten to a point in life when I'm trying to address an issue as it relates to women, I try to be mindful and say, but men, I'm gonna put this disclaimer in here. I know that y'all da-da-da-da-da-da-da. If I say something, men, they need to, but ladies, I want to put this disclaimer in there, because you got to look at both sides of the story. Somebody said mixing the truth with lies is the devil. That's exactly. It's like you're giving me a glass of water, but you put clear poison in it. And so we are living in a time where people are more so choosing to become offended over convicted. And the majority, there are a lot of women that agreed with him. I haven't really come across a lot of women that are highly offended by what Bishop Jake said, in all honesty. But the women who are offended, I recognize that for some of them, it was a trigger. Because a lot of them have been made to feel like they were, a child, they were needy, that they weren't really bringing to the household, they weren't really contributing, like they owed the man something. They grew up seeing that, and it's a trigger for them. So it's all about helping them to work past their triggers. You have to acknowledge. I see that about the PPP loan, and Kim, I'm not looking at that no more. I don't even want to see no responses. Y'all are just, oh my gosh, some of y'all are so cold-blooded. Don't say anything about that. We have to acknowledge why people do the things that they do at the same time. When you're dealing with someone who's mean, who's cold-hearted, who lies, who cheats, who steals, who's offensive, the only way to help them overcome what it is that's causing them to do said thing is by acknowledging what it is that caused them to get that mindset in the first place. All right? Somebody said any man in leadership. People want to know what he said. He didn't say anything bad. He made the statement that women today are being raised to be men. And that they basically are not allowing the men to take their place and provide, because the women are always saying, I don't need you. I got my own money. And he said, and if you always reminding me that you got your own money and that you're doing this your own way, don't question when I shy away from you. Y'all, men have to feel like they're needed. A real man. Let me say this, because we got some bubbles that don't mind driving in your car, living in your house, spending your money, eating your food, and molesting your children. Okay? We got some that do that. But a real man really does want to feel needed. T.D. Jakes needs to understand everyone, not you. So, to the ladies that might have felt triggered by what T.D. Jakes said about, we're being raised to be men. You got to stop and breathe. Really, you are by yourself wherever you are listening to this live. This is where you need to ask yourself, have I ever said to a man, I don't need you? I make my own money. I got my own car. I got my own place. I don't need you, right? And if you've ever said that, ask yourself, why did I say that to him? Did he say something to make me feel that way? Or am I still stewing over what happened in times past? And so then when you answer that question, turn around and say to yourself, okay, if he said that to make you feel that way, have I talked to him about that? Because you might have two triggered people, and this is the worst. When you get two triggered people in a relationship, oh my gosh. My husband and I have done counseling, and sometimes, y'all, we be on the way home, we just be looking. When you got two triggered people in a relationship, and they love each other, but they still have not worked past those triggers and the pains for their past, then there is a problem, all right? So have you talked to him about that, and have you actively listened to what he said? And a lot of times, y'all, it helps to have a mediator in the middle to hear, because you know, when you're passionate, the more you love a person, and when you're passionate about something, and you're just trying to deal with pain, a lot of times you ain't gonna be able to work things out. All right? And so when you say, okay, I've said that. Did I say that because he said that to me? Did I talk to him about it calmly and not in my feels? Not in my feels now. And then did I actively listen to what he said that made him say that? Now, if you're dealing with a Hamanaka that's saying, because I am the man, this is my house, and this is, then you got some, you know, praying to do and some choices to make. But if you're saying that because you don't want to be like mama or grandma or auntie, or because you don't want to be in the same relationship that you were in before because of how he made you feel, then you don't need to be in another relationship until you heal from that. Because now you're making him pay for what your past did. You need to make sure you work through all of that, because marriage is 50-50. It is. It's 50-50. It's give and it's take. You have to work together on this, all right? You really do. You have to work together on this, and you have to be willing to listen, all right? Listen to hear and not to respond, active listeningly. Exactly. So it was, I just recognize that those, you know, sometimes when we're teaching and when we are trying to help people grow from whatever stumbling block that's been keeping them down, a lot of times the reason why they can't receive what's being taught is because their triggers won't allow them to. So now we're living in a time, and I suppose it's always been like this, it's you know, and we just are now really opening our eyes up to that. The reason why it's so hard to reach people, because we're telling them what they shouldn't be doing, right? But we are not necessarily helping them to address their triggers so that they can overcome it and recognize their triggers. In my book, I Quit, I talk about the elephant in the room. And y'all, it's, you know, your triggers is like a person. You know how sometimes people, they have their house smell on them, but they don't smell it no more? Their nose blind to it. Your triggers, sometimes you're spiritually blind to it because you've been in it for so long. You don't even recognize that you were doing that. Let me see. She said, I thought marriage was 100. I don't understand. And it's 50-50. If you want to say 100, 100. 200, 200. 500, 500. 1,000, 1,000. You got to give and take. He got to give and take. All right? 50-50 is basically, metaphorically speaking, it's not literal. What I'm saying is both parties got to do their part. All right? All right? Marriage is on both sides. Yes, okay? You got to do your part, and he's got to do his part. So it's not literal. It's a saying. It's give and take. It's both people doing it together. I don't limit my marriage to 100. I don't even put a number on it. I'm gonna do my part. He gonna do his part, and we gonna run on. We gonna be even greater. All right. So if somebody put marriage is work, yes, Lord, it is. And when you're dealing with triggers, it makes it even worse. And I got married as a young bride, and I came into the marriage with triggers. He came into the marriage with triggers. I think to some point we all come into the marriage with triggers. It's all about whether or not you're willing to acknowledge those so that you can become better. You can become better. It's equal giving in their marriage all the time. And so I pray that this blessed you all. And I pray that people, y'all, ladies, because some of y'all don't want to hear it from men. If you're in between relationships, Heavenly Father, help me to say this where they don't get big mad. If you're in between relationships, if you are dealing with multiple baby daddies, if you are struggling with keeping authentic relationships, if you're struggling in your walk with Christ, all right, then you are the common denominator. It's not them. It's you. Even if you have been in several abusive relationships and you keep picking the wrong man, it's still not them. It's you, because you're choosing them. All right? And you're choosing them based off of the same criteria that you were given, maybe when you were a child, or maybe, with a bad experience, and you've decided to keep going into relationships based off of that same toxic criteria that you've been using. So instead of getting mad when someone tells you something that you know is true, just silently to yourself, get in your room to yourself, and give yourself a self-assessment and a self-check. All right? Okay? You have to acknowledge it. If you have, at some point, we have to acknowledge, if I'm on relationship number 1411, and I'm on marriage number 10, and I'm on job number 20, and I'm on apartment number 50, the wavering is on my part. I'm the one who's messing this up. It's not intentional, but I'm the one who's doing this because I'm the one. These are different people from different walks of life. These are different jobs. These are different men. These are different places to stay. These are different, everything. But I'm the one who's making this decision to go into the same old, same old. And so when somebody comes along and tells you not to do what you've been doing all along, instead of getting mad, pause and listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. Because what you're trying to do is make your system work, and it's broken, women. It's broken. Be mindful of what you're doing. Okay, this is fixing to make a lot of folks mad. Stop having all these children by these different men. You already taken from your child children by not giving them a stable, safe home. You already putting them babies in the position of not really being able to have their Christmases together if all their daddies are in their life. You are going in and out of relationship. This is why sex is for marriage only. Oh, gosh. I don't care what Kevin Samuel said. If a man ain't going to wait on you because he want to have sex with you, then he don't love Christ. Because the man is supposed to love you like Christ loved the church, and Christ told the church not to have sex before marriage. And so if he ain't willing to wait on you, he ain't the one. But a lot of you all are figuring that you can hold on to a man by opening your legs, baby, and that's not going to keep a man. That's how some of these most beautiful women right here got all of these men, and they can't keep them. They still going out and cheating. Because every woman got a book, and the books all work the same. You want a man that's going to love you like God tells him to love you, unconditionally. But a lot of you have been using your bodies. You've been using vanity. You've been using your quick wit, everything to get and snag a man. And in the process, you creating generational curses that your children and their children and their children are going to have to deal with. And then because your system didn't work, you have the nerve to turn around and get bitter and mad and want to fuss all the time because of choices that you made. You made them choices. Unless it was a SA, sexual assault. I don't think you can say that on live no more. You made the decision to lay down with him. You made the decision to have unprotected sex. You made the decision to give him the keys to your car. You made the decision to move in with him and act like a wife when he wouldn't even buy you a Cracker Jack ring. You made that decision. So if you want to get mad at anybody, baby, you got to get mad at yourself. Somebody said, go get your laundry too. Go on, get your laundry. We can be productive today. We can talk like sisters and get it all done. You be mad at yourself because you made that choice. I'm just talking to the women today, all right? Because y'all ain't hearing these men. Now, let me tell you something. Sometimes it helps to listen to these men because they're giving it to you from their perspective. They being truthful about what they see. But a lot of you are sitting up here and you are mad and angry at the world. And all you've got to do is go to God and let God guide you. But the truth and honesty is the reason why a lot of you are still struggling in certain areas is because you're lazy. You're sorry. Oh, gosh. Let me see how many people I'm going to lose off this live. I already lost about 300 after that glitch. You're lazy and you're sorry. You don't want to do right. You going around and you're hoping that your looks and your body will get you where you want in life. You want the ideal family with a man and the kids and a house and a home and stuff like that, but you don't know nothing about cooking. You won't even clean. You don't want to change the baby diaper. You don't want to do anything. You just want somebody who's just going to go out, pay the bills, and bring the check home to you, and it don't work like that. It does not work like that. And then if you are a woman who is thriving in life, for one thing, congratulations to you, sis. I am proud of you. Whether it may be in your business or in your career, whatever it is that you're doing, you still have to know how to be a girl boss, but then a submissive wife. And it's easier said than done, all right? It's easier said than done. Because, you have to know how to turn that queen boss light off when you get home. And you have to recognize that he's got to be the part where God created him to be. And if you got a real man that know and truly understands what God meant in his word when he said to live your wives like Christ loved the church, he ain't going to make you feel insignificant anyway. He ain't going to throw up how much he made in your face. Because, anytime a man, let me go ahead and say this to you men that may be on here. For every time that you have to remind a woman you're the one who paid the bills, and it's because of not because of the fact that you're being disrespected, but because of your ego, you showing her right there that you got low self-esteem. All right? You got low self-esteem, bro. So you have to keep pounding yourself on the chest by reminding her of what you're doing. And that's probably because you really don't feel like you're doing enough. Or maybe her strength intimidates you. See, it takes a lot to be a power couple when you're dealing with a woman who can handle her business and a man who knows how to handle his business. And you put them two together. Those are two A personalities that have to come together and know how to submit to each other. Submit to each other and the relationship and respect each other. And y'all, those are two strong-minded, strong-willed people. Okay? They're strong-minded and they're strong-willed. And they have to be. Those are the two people whose ego won't get in the way because they know that even in submission to their husband or to their wife, that does not make them any less strong or any less powerful. All right? But start taking accountability for your actions because now our kids, all right, our kids are paying the price for our dumb decisions. And so now here it is, everybody we got too many chiefs and not enough Indians, so to speak. Everybody want to be in charge. Let me tell you, one of the easiest things for me is being able to sit back and say, oh, gosh, thank God my husband got it. I get tired of being in charge all the time. I run my own business. Plus, I run that business from home, which is super difficult because people think when you work from home, that means you got all the time in the world. It is very difficult to run a business and you got laundry. You still got to cook. You got to vacuum. I got a whole puppy. And then I got, a ministry and all this other stuff. It takes a lot. It does. It takes a lot to do. And I understand it can be overwhelming. I'm making my own money. I can, help take care of things around here at the house. But at the same time, when it comes to the things that relates to my husband and the thing, because we sit down and we talk about how the house is going to be ran. When you're in a relationship, especially if you two A-type personalities, y'all need to sit down and talk about who's going to be in charge of what so that you won't step on each other's toes. Sit down and talk about it. If you bumping heads about the money, sit down and say, okay, who's going to be in charge of this? And who's going to take over this? And then always consult with each other, talk to each other. Make sure that you don't make any decisions until both of you have come together and agreed. So now, I mean, we got it to the point, even now when we do our plays, when we're at the church and everything, somebody come in, no, that's pastor's arena, you need to go to him. No, that's first lady, go to her, she's in charge of that. No, that's mama, you need to go to her. No, that's daddy, you need to go to her. And so you're establishing boundaries, you're establishing order, you're establishing structure, and that's what makes the relationship healthy. But see, a lot of you get into relationships because the sex was good. You didn't talk the first time at all. You just got with him because you felt like he knew how to hit it. That's why you got with him. And then after you got numb to the good living, whatever it is that you call yourself, called it, then you looked up and realized you didn't know nothing about each other. Because I heard too many women, I can't get with him unless, I can't buy it until I try it and everything. For one thing, love is not for sale, it's free. When God, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. God ain't going around and he ain't selling love, it's free. It's free. So if you want what God, if you buying it, then it ain't of God in the first place. If you got to try it before you buy it, because God don't hand out free samples when it comes to sex and marriage. You ain't gonna see him in no supermarket or outside no Walmart or nothing handing out no free samples. When he gets ready to send you your spouse, he just gonna give it to you and say, okay, this is the person that you're supposed to marry right here. Now, go set a date and go ahead and do it. And that's it. He ain't handling. So if you trying it before you buying it, then you in Satan's clearance rack. You buying some of his knockoff stuff that Satan's selling, because that ain't the way he works at all. At all. So a lot of y'all done went and got and married knockoffs, both men and women. You ain't even married a real thing. You sitting over there and you trying to walk around with these red bottoms, didn't even realize that Satan went and got some spray paint and painted on the bottom of some cheap shoes that it found at the thrift store. And you thinking that you got, a name brand. No, you got a knockoff. You got shoes that other people don't wear. Got creases all up there in the top. I understand women have the blame, but not the whole thing. No, but see, look, nobody said that the women had the whole blame. It was just from one perspective. That is the problem, though. And I'm not saying that you're doing that. That is the problem, though. When people, and this just irks me, when people are talking about one particular subject and the moment a person gets convicted, then they got to start finding fault in the next person instead of acknowledging their own convictions. See, that's why people got mad at Kim Burrell, because when she went to apologize, she didn't stick to herself. She had to go point out flaws in everybody else. Don't stick to yourself. Better yourself. And then if you see that there is something wrong with him, or if there's something wrong with her, whatever, pray and ask God, Lord, show her. The worst thing that you can do and the best thing that you can do is put God on the person who ain't hearing you. Because he will handle them. Trust me. I've seen it time and time again. Love shouldn't be costing anything. Exactly. It's free. It is free. But people don't want to hear that. They want to be able to go and do what they want to do. They want to live life any kind of way. And then they want to go and put God on top of it. Every time I see somebody who is living in or actively participating in an unrighteous relationship, talking about how God, no, God ain't got nothing to do with that. Satan can give you stuff just as well as the next person. He can. That's why he was trying to tempt Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was trying to tempt him and give him stuff. So he can give it to you too. If you are in sin and you are growing, God didn't give that to you. See, God will give you grace and mercy, i.e. your life and time and space to go back and get yourself right. But he ain't going to sit up here and keep handing you stuff so that you can turn back around and stay in sin. It doesn't work that way. We don't even do that with our own children. Why in the world am I going to go and give my children when they were younger or raising their allowance or go give them a treat and then they failing and acting up in school? God works the same way. He's chasing those who he loves. He's going to go and he's going to bless you according to your faith. And your faith is going to be a reflection of your obedience. And your obedience is going to be a reflection of your word, your reverence, and your study in his word. So if you are listening and you are obeying and you are applying his truth, then God will bless you. But if you are in active sin and you acquiring a whole bunch of stuff, you're just getting it from Satan's knockoff closet. I don't care if it is $1 billion. I don't care if it is a Maserati. That's why God says that, you sit up here and you wise in your own eyes. They think because I have, much that, I am good. But no, God says you're wretched. Because God was like, I ain't even get it to you. Satan gave that to you. And I saw him get that, off the clearance rack. Matter of fact, he stole it off somebody's truck. I didn't give you that. So for those of you who feel like you're doing well because you got, some coin in the bank, if you're actively living a sin-filled life and you are not trying to grow and change in here, that ain't God. You are living off of his grace and his mercy. But all that other stuff, Satan gave that to you to trick you, to make you feel like God was blessing you. That's what he was doing. Because that is his tactic that he's using in today's time, because people are caught up on mammon. They are caught up on stuff. They're caught up on status. They are caught up on what you have. They're caught up on all of that vanity right there, right? And so Satan is saying, okay, since that's the mindset, since we don't have all these prosperity preachers to come out and mess with folks and feel like, tell them that, they can, be rich and not even teach on the Holy Spirit and everything. Now that he don't got them to go and teach on that, people are walking around here thinking that they can cuss folks out, twerk on the club floor and post the scripture, and God will say, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I know that you just cussed her out. I know you just had your tail all out. Yes, but I am so proud of you because you took time to read that one scripture in the Bible out. Yes, you did. I'm so proud of you because you put $100 in the offering. That's what people have been conditioned to believe. No, nope. It don't work that way, baby. Y'all read your Bibles. That ain't what the word of God says. He said, I would rather you be hot or cold, because lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. If you are lukewarm, it's because you got world and the church. That's lukewarm. See, I'm not coming up with this, myself. That is what the Bible is saying. Thank y'all for the stars. Thank y'all so much. I'm not saying this is what the Bible has said. He wants you to be hot or cold. He'd rather for you to be for him or against him. But he can't stand a hypocrite. And there are a lot of hypocrites now. A lot of hypocrites. They going out there doing any and everything, mixing with the world and doing any and everything. And then we got our so-called mega people that are mixing with these folks and saying that they're okay and everything. I mean, oh my gosh. I can only imagine how hot their seats are going to be if they don't repent before God comes back. All right. That is how he works. That is how he works. A lot of these people that y'all are going to see that are in ministry or are part of mega ministries that are going to be going through on their platforms, that ain't going to be the devil. That's going to be God saying, I'm as tired of this church. I'm as done with you. That is God telling you better get it together. I'm sending you a warning. Everything is not the devil. Some of this stuff is God pulling back saying, I am tired of your hypocrisy. Let me just let you feel the heat and let you feel the burn. And then some of these Hamanakers still ain't getting it. They still ain't getting it. They still, yes, God delivered me. No, God did not deliver you from Satan's attack. He gave you grace and mercy to get it together. And if you don't, next time may not be in your favor. But folks ain't ready for that conversation. There are some people that actually feel like that God is dumb enough to believe their lies. He's dumb enough to think that while they are still sinning, that they really love him. So next time somebody disrespects you, and the next time somebody keeps doing the same thing to you over and over and over after you've repeatedly told them how much it hurts you, the next time you turn around and you decide that, you cuss, but you still love, I need for you to remember this, because the same thing that these folks are doing to you, you doing to God, and you reap what you sow. So all this stuff, and let me tell you something, as children of God in this day and age, if you are not a part of the in crowd, you better pat yourself on the back and say, I give God glory, because the Bible is fulfilling itself. People are falling away from the church. More and more people are falling away from the church. They really don't want to hear it. Some of them are already reprobate in mind. How in the world did we get on the subject of this? We've supposed to been talking about Kim Burrell and T.D. Jakes. But they really don't want to hear that. They're reprobate in the mind. So if you felt, if you're looking around and like, dog, I'm alone, I ain't got no friends because everybody's going to do stuff that ain't right and everything. Look, hell had to get bigger to make room for the people that decided that they were going to be a part of the great falling away later on. It got bigger to make room for them. You make sure that as hell grows, it does not grow to make room for you. All right? make sure that it does not make room for you. And if you find yourself lonely, just know it's because you are not a part of the great falling away. You're not a part of that. While everybody else trying to look cool and be like the world and walk around here, you can't tell a child of God. Back in the day, you used to be able to tell a child of God separate, just think, prove that they are growing and stuff. And in that process, they getting farther and farther and farther away. And then their children, oh my gosh, this is what hurts my heart so bad. Y'all, this is what hurts my heart so bad. Like, I had to rebuke the spirit of depression. That's just how bad it was hurting my heart. Parents who are walking away from God, walking away from principle, even though they're still in the church, even though they still read their Bible once or twice a week, and they go to church every blue moon, that are pulling their children away from the true gospel and actually encouraging them to do more things of the world. They have children who are not in the church, children who don't desire to go to church. They've got children who are getting into trouble on the regular basis, and the parents still refuse to acknowledge their wrong and still refuse to say, you know what, we got to get this together because, I'm going up to heaven and I'm taking all my folk, like Canton Jones said in his song. They still won't do it. And you sit up here and let me tell you something, there is nothing more beautiful than watching a child get excited about the word of God. A child get excited about being able to break down the different stories of the Bible and come to you with questions and so forth. And then to see that same child, just as they're getting at that peak and they jumping around in church and they praising the Lord and they the loudest little bit of high-pitched voice singing God's praises and so forth, to see their parent pull them away. Y'all, that hurts. I can't tell y'all how many tears I don't shed. You got parents that got their children more versed in the things of this world than they do the 23rd Psalm. And they don't care. They do not care. I can't figure it out. I got people that I grew up with that went to church. They left the church and they took their kids with them. And now they children are on the road to hell on a gasoline truck. And the parents still sitting up there looking like they don't even, you don't have to go to church to be saved. No, you don't have to go to church to be saved, but you do need to go to church to remain saved. That's why the Bible says to fail not in the assembling of yourself. See, people who don't go to church typically, not all. So don't jump down my throat. Because they're sorry, they're lazy, and they don't want to get up. They want to stay in the bed because that's the last day that they have before they have to be to work on Monday. All right? If you did not have to go to church, and if God did not want you to be a part of one body but many members, he would not have given instruction on how the church were to be ran. And he would not have appointed the teachers and the pastors and the evangelists and the prophets. He wouldn't have put all of that in place. You need someone to teach you. Saying that you don't have to go to church to be saved is like saying that you don't have to go to the gas station to get gas for your car. I'm for real. Try going to the Dollar General and seeing if you can find some gas for your car. All right? Saying that you do not have to go to church to remain saved is like saying that you ain't got to go to the grocery store to get food. Go to the hardware store and see how well you get. You need that. You need accountability. Somebody just said you need the fellowship. You need to come together to help in the building of the kingdom. And let me go ahead and say this, and I don't say this several times before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to just keep saying it for the next 100 years of my life. You need somebody to pour into you. We're living in a time where you have been falsely taught that you should be about personal relationship and not religion. I double dog dare you all to look up what religion means, both in the Webster Dictionary and in the Bible, and then come back again and tell me that God hates religion. There is nothing personal about being a child of God, and nothing private if you've been called to be a light to the world. When you have God living in your heart, then you automatically become a light. If you got God in you, people gonna always know because your light gonna shine. If your light ain't shining, then something wrong. And because your light is going to shine, some will go away from you because they can't stand the light, but others are going to gravitate. We are supposed to build upon this rock. We will build our church, and it's going to set it up, okay? We're not going to build our church on sand. We're going to build it on the rock. It's going to set us up. And with us being a light, people are always going to have their eyes on us, which is why we always have to make sure that we are, they can try the spirit by the spirit, that they will know our fruit. They will be able to know us by our fruit. So to sit up there and say you ain't got to go to church you can get saved right now in the privacy of your home. All you got to do is say, Lord, I acknowledge that you are Jesus, you are the Son of God. I repent of my sins, and I ask for you to come into my heart. Boom, you're saved. But in order for you to stay saved, you got to be around people that's going to help you to grow in him. And you can't be wise in your own eyes, baby. You need somebody that's going to be able to pour into you. You can't do it by yourself. You need that so that your light will continue to shine. Because if I had to talk to you personally, I can guarantee you that within the first 10 minutes, I can be done got 3 things that you don't struggle with today alone. And it's only 1:16 Georgia time here. I got to go. I wasn't planning on saying, I did get my laundry done, though. Now I got to go hang everything up. So I got my laundry done. Yeah, the TD Jakes, you're going to have to watch it from the beginning of the line. People using COVID as an excuse. People using a lot of things as an excuse. All right. They're using a lot of things as an excuse. And I do humbly solicit your prayers, because one of the hardest things about being a pastor's wife is detaching from souls that have chosen to be lost. And when you tell people the truth, they get mad and go and lie. They do. They do. And I told my husband, I don't know how to turn it off when you see what's going to happen to the person or persons who's turned their face away from God, and you try to warn them and they still don't want to hear it. And I'm like, how do I not let that bother me? All right. How do you, and when you're in ministry, you're going to see that on the regular, especially in this day and age. You're going to see that on the regular. And this is the one thing that I struggle with, because as I told you before, if we're going to teach on certain things, we got to acknowledge the triggers, right? So that we can understand why they have that mindset, so we can help them to overcome that mindset. But choosing to turn your face away from God, even after you've received nothing but love, is something that I would never, ever, ever understand. Because there are people who have turned away from God, not because they were done wrong, but because they just decided that they want to sin. They knew that their lives were miserable when they were in sin. But just like the children of Israel, who were miserable when they were in Egypt, as they witnessed the miracles of the parting of the Red Sea and God raining manna from heaven, everything, they still formed their lips to complain and want to go back. And that's how it is in today's time. So what a lot of people don't realize is those who have had God to deliver them from something. When you know that God delivered you from the absolute worst, the moment you start grieving from the worst, you're like the children of Israel. And so I look at that and I'm like, I just don't understand it. And I'm like, okay, is there something else that we can do to reach them? Is something else that can be said when at the end of the day, the choice is theirs? You can't force it on them. You don't want them to experience what's coming. Because I know a lot of a lot of people that if they don't get it together, their days will be shortened. And even that is not enough. That's, y'all, And so I'm teaching myself now how to detach, or I'm asking God to show me how to detach. I don't want to be cold and callous, but I'm like, okay, God, I need for you to show me how to let go. How long do we keep trying before we dust the shoes off? Bible says to show them, and if they don't listen, dust the feet off, and keep going. If he gives you an unction to try again, and you have to make sure it's him and not you, because I struggle with that too. All you can do is tell them. Plant that seed, and then go on to the next one. And typically they reach back out in some form or fashion. I ain't gonna lie. I told my husband, Lord, forgive me if I'm wrong for saying this, but this is the very reason why, the very part of ministry that I don't like. I do not like it. This is the part. These are the parts of ministry that take me back to the time where I miss being on the usher board. I know. I hear you, but you're saying they can bring you down with them. That's why, I have to be careful. These are the days where I miss just being on the usher board, singing in the choir, where I was totally oblivious of the behind the scenes of ministry. Because the behind the scenes of ministry, y'all have no idea what the good pastors and leaders, ministry leaders, go through behind the scenes. And a lot of times people, when they know that you have a true relationship, especially when it's family, you got that right. When people know that you have a true relationship with God, instead of developing their own walk, they just depend on you to be that gateway to God. They want you to pray for them. They want you to, because they've come to you before and they've seen you pray and they've seen God work that thing out, because they don't ask God plenty of times themselves to do it, and it didn't work because they didn't have a relationship, but they came to you, you prayed, and it worked out. So then they want to use you like a magic genie bottle, where they come to you and they want you to pray, and then when you get to the point, no, baby, it's time for you to develop your walk, you to develop that line of communication. That's when they get mad and they leave. So, people that are raring to jump into ministry and stuff, folks, some of y'all went off on me when I said Kanye was ready. Y'all see he wasn't ready for ministry. Y'all see he ain't in ministry no more. The real ones know that ministry is not glamorous. Ministry is not lights, camera, action. No, it ain't at all. Ministry is tiresome. It grieves your spirit a lot. And, you got to be in shape to be in ministry, baby. You have to be in shape to be in ministry. And it just requires so much that sometimes your flesh is not willing to give. My husband, he's a pastor. My brother, he's a pastor. We have pastor friends, and a lot of times, y'all, especially when they already having to work a regular job and then having to go and deal with, it's a lot. It is a lot. And what y'all don't see typically, especially for those who have smaller congregations, y'all see when pastor get up there and he got his nice suit on, and and first lady got her heels on, and the few members that are there, they're sitting up there saying amen. But y'all don't see before the service when everybody comes in and all this other. Y'all don't know that pastor had his sleeve rolled up, helping First Lady and the rest of them clean the bathrooms, make sure we got tissue installed, make sure that, you vacuumed up, make sure you're doing all this other stuff. So on top of that, because so many people have decided they just want to stay home because you ain't got to go to church, but the church better help me if I call, and the church better give money, if there's a tornado or a disaster and everything. You don't see them having to go and do the domestic part of ministry as the ministerial part of ministry too. But y'all, that's another subject for another day. I need to go ahead and do my drawing. This was Clean Chat. And so I am going to, this month I'm giving out my Titus 2 mouse pads. And so every week, and I missed last week, so today I'm going to be drawing 2 names. Every week we will be doing giveaways for those who are patrons. In order to become eligible for the giveaway, you have to be an opal, a pearl, or sapphire. Opal, pearl, or sapphire. I think that's opal, pearl, or sapphire. Yeah, I think that's it. So the 2 names today is Evangeline Gonzalez and Clarine Coble. Congratulations. I will be sure to post it in our private group. Thank you for those of you who have sent stars in support of the bmack platform. I look forward to talking to you all next time. I also posted a reel, you all, earlier today. So y'all make sure y'all go check it out. Y'all come every day. I'm posting reels every day. So please continue to support me by coming, watching it, hearting it, liking it, sharing it. That helps to, support the platform as well. I love you all. And until next time, you all be blessed. Bye-bye. Somebody said they called. I missed you earlier. Okay. Just watch the replay. Love you all. Bye-bye.